Today we have some news on multiple titles from the relatively new publisher Gamuzumi. The past few months have seen Gamuzumi publish a variety of risque visual novel titles on consoles. Their latest release, Sables Grimoire, was previously available on PC and Android, and it holds positive reviews on its Steam store page. With the new console releases, the game was released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One on June 10th. These versions of the game have been given an M rating by the ESRB. However, even with an M rating, console manufacturers can still have policies for games released on their systems, and this has led to even further changes having to be made to the PlayStation versions. As has been reported by websites such as the Wall Street Journal, since 2018, Sony began implementing stricter rules on depicting certain sexual content in games released for their systems. This policy change has since seen dozens of titles either go unreleased on Sony systems or be forced to make changes, toning down provocative content. For Sables Grimoire, the publisher had communicated in advance that censorship was needed for them to be able to release the title on PlayStation. The publisher has also disclosed this on the game's PlayStation store page, with it reading, "2 images have been removed and others have been censored." When researching this story, I came across this tweet from the publisher talking about the Xbox and Nintendo Switch versions. They said, "On PlayStation we adjusted a few images and scenes to fit the console policies. On Xbox and Switch we adjusted scenes too, but in a lower ratio." I got in touch with the publisher to clarify, and they assured me that the Xbox and Switch versions are the same as the Steam version, and this was a mistake on their side. I also discussed with the publisher their other recently released titles, with them saying, "Sables Grimoire on PS4, PS5 has some scenes from the main story censored and a few images removed compared to the PC version. Sakura Succubus 1 and 2, PS4, PS5 Switch, is the same one as the Steam version without the patch, 18+. Legends of Talia, PS4, PS5 Switch, is the same as the Steam version. Beach Bounce Remastered, we only removed the sex scenes." And so, aside from their latest release, Sables Grimoire, all of their console releases are the same in content as on other console systems. This has been far from the only difficulty faced by the publisher, however. You may have noticed that while all their games are available for Nintendo Switch, some titles aren't available for PlayStation and Xbox. For the visual novel Beach Bounce Remastered, the publisher has said that Sony won't allow them to release it on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. All of the publisher's other titles have been able to release on PlayStation, however. As for Xbox, Microsoft is no stranger to content policies of their own. In December last year, for instance, the Xbox release of Galgun Returns had to be cancelled despite it already being produced and ready to go. Inti Creates, the Japanese developers of Galgun, is a relatively sizable company, with them being well known for developing games in the Mega Man and Asia Striker series, amongst many others. And from Inti Creates' statements on the matter, it seems that Microsoft took issue with the game's provocative content and won't allow it to be released for their systems without making changes, this being something that Inti Creates wasn't prepared to do. Microsoft's content policies have meant that all of Gamuzumi's games, with the exception of their latest release, Sables Grimoire, have not been able to be released on Xbox. Discussing the possibility of an Xbox release of Sakura Succubus, the publisher has said, "We tried to release Sakura Succubus on consoles, but it was impossible without basically cutting the 50% of the game. As far as we can, we'll release all our titles for all consoles." And in other tweets they have said, "Sadly, our previous games were rejected due to console policies. As far as we can, we'll try to release all our games on all consoles. Hope someday our friend Phil lets us release some lewd games for our weep followers. Sadly, Xbox refused our first games. But yes, we'll try to bring our next games to Xbox too. We want that all our players can play the best lewd games on their favorite console. Sadly, due to some Xbox policies, we haven't been able to release our first titles on Xbox. But we'll try with every new game until Xbox accepts one of them. And now, with 4 titles being rejected, but on their 5th attempt getting Sables Grimoire approved, yes, finally we managed to release a visual novel for our Xbox fans." As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, thank you for watching.